Welcome to Dump Truck Toolbox. I'm Alan, and today we're going to go on a hauling tail to get number one stone for the pond. Well, I'd like to welcome you to the cab of the Big Orange Triaxle. Um, Today we're doing a hauling tail that starts a little bit differently. We were instructed to go to a stone yard that's 45, 50 miles west of us. And the question is, why go there? Especially since the same company that owns the yard we're going to this morning also owns the yard that is right next to our basic construction lot. So why drive so far west? Well, best I can tell, it's because we're picking up number one stone, and apparently the yard right next to us doesn't have number one stone. And so that raises an interesting question. What is number one stone? The front loader is putting number one stone onto my dump truck. Number one stone is the largest grade of crushed stone. It runs about 2 to 4 inches. They take stone out of a quarry and crush it and then filter it repeatedly. And after all the smaller stone is out, they put it through another filter, and it allows the 2 inch to 4 inch stone through. Took a accelerated trip to the scales. You can see that I'm weighing 55,400 pounds. That means I have about 30,000 pounds, 15 tons of stone on the truck. This yellow box is where I pick up the tickets from the scale. Actually have to unbuckle, and I think I even had to raise my seat to make it all the way over there. I've got 2 copies that I'm going to pick up, turn those in, usually to one of the people working at the construction site, and then they submit it to the appropriate process, and the stone yard gets paid. If you're an independent driver, you have to submit the ticket so that you get paid, but it's my company I'm working for, so no big deal. We're going to accelerate again. We're pulling into the pond. I'm on the access road. And even when I was back at the scale, you could see there's a number of big orange trucks working this job today. That leads to something of a traffic jam here at the site. Um, these are all very competent drivers, and the crew on the site has organized things reasonably well. So even though we have a lot of trucks, it goes pretty smoothly. The truck on the right there is dumping out now. The truck in front of me is waiting his turn. We're making a giant pile of the number one stone, and then we're loading dirt. And so the truck pulling up on the left there just put his tarp back. He's got a full load of dirt, and just like any dump truck driver should, he's concerned to make sure that the tailgate of his truck is clear. He grabbed, I think, a scraper there. He's checking his tailgate. Truck in front of me is backing in to the stone pile, and the truck in between those two is there getting loaded. We're getting loaded with fill dirt. If you've been on the channel recently, you know we've been working on building a very large retention pond, and the fill dirt is what was in the area that's becoming the pond. There goes the truck who was in the front of this little group. Tailgate looks good, and that person is heading off to the sand pit to dispose of these spoils. The truck in between me and the one getting loaded has just dumped out the number one stone, and now that driver is moving into the waiting position between the stone pile and the loading site. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull up here, spin the truck around, and then back in myself to the loading site. I'm going to turn on the camera mic here so we can hear the sounds of me dumping out. I have a spotter back there helping me move in, and he's signaling to me to move the back of my truck to his right, and it's going to center me in the pile. And then he gives me the signal to go ahead and raise my bed and dump out. You could see on the video that there were 3 trucks in front of me here on the construction site. I believe there's probably another 2 to 4 trucks in front of them. That pile there is pretty good size already. We only did one trip to get stone, and I think we had 10 or 12 trucks running that day. By the end of the day, all that stone had been moved to the appropriate place in the pond, and the pile was totally gone.
That's it, dirt, rest of the day.
Okay, taking it to Lee's pit. It's always good to confirm what you're carrying and where you're taking it, and we just did that. The forward-facing camera is in the bottom right corner, and you can see the truck leaving with a full load of dirt. We'll jump ahead just a little bit here. I'm backing into position, trying to set my truck up to be as efficient as possible for the loader operator. He is loading a lot of dirt today, and probably 50, 60 truckloads, and so I don't want to create any unnecessary time and effort on his part. I'm not great at that. A couple times today I thought I was being helpful, and I ended up in a position that he had to do a 3/4 turn. So he shakes his bucket to clear things out. In just a second, you're going to see the most interesting piece of equipment that's been on this site since I've been working there. And we're going to zoom in a little bit so you can get a good look at it. This is called a crawler dumper. The crawler dumper has 2 tricks. It has the tracks, obviously, gives it mobility really across almost any type of terrain, and then it turns around. By spinning the body around on top of the tracks, that makes it quicker, and it also means you don't tear up the ground by having the left track go forward and the right track go backwards. It turns around on this end of its trip, and then it makes its way all the way around the pond to the backside, and it turns the body around again there. So I think dump trucks are cool. I also think tracked vehicles are cool. So a tracked dump truck is just like the most. I'm going to get one more scoop loaded on my truck here. I want to thank you for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have you on the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you found today's video interesting, and who doesn't find a tracked dump truck interesting, well, please click on the like button. This is Alan, and as always, I appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to put on some music and let that take us all the way out to the credits. But I hope to see you again soon at the Dump Truck Toolbox.